Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well, Mr. Naheda.
Okay.
I can just see your fine manly chest.
There we go.
Beautiful.
There we go.
Look fresh.
Yeah, I just hopped out of the shower.
Yeah.
I'm ready for my dinner today.
Nice. You got two fucking dinners today.
What was that?
You got two family dinners today.
Um, no, it's more like a lunch at the
Yeah,
beginning.
like you know what I mean, like family meals, family
Yeah,
gatherings. That's really
yeah,
nice.
yeah. Yeah, man, it's nice. Today's gonna be a nice day.
Yeah.
I hope I don't jinx it.
Yeah.
No, it's hard to see how it would go wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, what about you, man? How you doing?
Good. Good.
How was you guys' last night?
Yeah, it was fun, man. I'm not drinking this weekend, so
Yeah.
um, I was a little bit like restless on Friday and restless yesterday because like
Yeah.
usually I'd be out and like enjoying being around people and that kind of drinking
Uh-huh.
vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so Friday I didn't go out at all. I just dropped some melatonin and went to sleep. And then yesterday I was just like, it's kind of a bit of a grump most of the day. So I was like, can't drink. What's the point? Can't go out, just kind of sulky.
Yeah, yeah.
But I just like, I wanted to go out, man. I wanted to be out. And like, it can't be the case that the only things to do
Just
on
the drink, no?
like it for like socializing and like just kind of laying off steam is just to go out and drink and like mess about.
Yeah.
It was like, I want to just go out anyway. So we ended up like, we went out to Metro Town and just like
Yeah.
strolled around the mall.
Oh, like Metrotown, the mall?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we
That's
just like
like
some
high school
teenage thing
shit.
to do. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
High school stuff to do.
Yeah. I mean, especially because it was raining too, man.
Yeah,
I didn't have like the opportunity to go walk outside or anything like that.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then we
But
ended up in Mescal.
you ended up at Mezcal?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And, I
Of
ate
course.
so much food because I couldn't drink. I was just like, just keep bringing me food. It's like the same price as drinks, right? I was like, if I'm not spending
Yeah.
money on drinks today, I'm going to eat a ton of food.
Yeah.
I ate so much last night, man.
The bill came to like $1,000.
No, for me, it was relatively cheap because I didn't
Oh
drink.
yeah.
It was like $40 for me.
Uh-huh.
It was pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So it's two tacos.
It's like two tacos, ceviche, uh, what is it called? Chicharrón de puerco.
Yeah. Oh, that was good.
Yeah,
Well,
so good, man.
the last time I had it, it was good. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And Gabe and I went down to an oyster bar after that.
The oyster bar.
Yeah, on Commercial.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So good, man. Those oysters, man.
Yeah, man. I love oysters.
Amazing.
Fucking love oysters.
So I had a weird thing in my mind about oysters because, like, I think it was the first time I had them was at my friend's mum's birthday. At her
Like just recently or
No, this was years ago.
yeah, yeah.
I was like a teenager, or I think I was like late teens,
Uh-huh.
and I just remember them like they were huge
Uh-huh.
things, right? And I just remember them like I've never had testicles in my mouth, but it made me feel like I had testicles in my mouth. And I made the mistake of like biting into them and they just like exploded in my mouth. And I was like, oh,
Uh-huh.
but I was also drinking and like, I was like, okay, I'll try some more. And then you like
Uh-huh.
put them whole, right? These massive ones.
Mm-hmm.
And it just felt weird to me. Like,
Yeah.
it felt super weird. But like these oysters are tiny. And
Yeah,
they're
man.
really nice, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's like there's some kind of sourness in there that just like wakes me up so much.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because I can't have an oyster just like that on its own. Like the taste of it is too powerful for me.
Oh, yeah, that's kind
So
of
I
what I
always
was
put,
craving yesterday.
oh yeah?
Yeah, I really wanted some like kind of. I wanted to go for tapas,
Yeah.
like proper like Spanish tapas, where it's like little dishes of like a few like clams or like razor clams that are like amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
Just like all these little things that are like really flavorful, really powerful. And
yeah.
there's not really anywhere you couldn't find anywhere that could do
Well, there used to be a place down in Commercial, but it just shut down during COVID.
that.
Like almost like near the SkyTrain,
Yeah.
just on your way up to Commercial. Well, on your way up on Commercial and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it just shut down. Other than that, I have no idea where you'd find a restaurant like that here. But yeah, with oysters, I was gonna say I always put lime on them and
Mhm.
Tabasco.
Mm.
Oof,
Yeah,
my mouth just watered.
yeah. There's something powerful in those oysters, man.
Yeah, man, they're delicious.
Like I have a strange reaction to some types of foods,
Uh-huh.
like especially fruit.
Like allergic reaction?
I don't know if it's an allergic reaction, but like expect like citrus fruit. I think I've told you this in the past, but like
Uh-huh.
citrus fruits kind of make me feel a bit high.
No. Oh, maybe you did. Yeah,
Like if I
it's
have
kind
like
of
a
starting to ring a
bite
bell.
into like an orange or a grapefruit, it's like this kind of like similar to a brain freeze feeling,
Uh-huh.
but it's more of like a wash over the inside of my head. Just goes like, whoosh, and I'm like, whoa, you know. It kind of has that sound as well. It just goes like,
Have you have you had edibles?
yeah.
What sound do those make?
They don't really. I just go like,
No? Boom.
yeah. Edibles fun, man.
Yeah.
I messed about with the cookies for a while,
Yeah, I remember that.
maybe over a year ago, and
Yeah.
it was like a 30 milligram or like a 60 milligram cookie. I would just like have a nibble and then see what happens for the day. You know,
Yeah.
that was good fun because it didn't have the same effect as smoking on me. It didn't make me like,
Yeah, no, man, but it's a more prolonged effect for me. But when the crash is happening, when I'm burning out, I am out of it, man. Yeah, I'm completely gone. My eyes are even redder than they would be if I was smoking,
yeah.
and that my speech goes like to shit. Sometimes people would ask me anything, be what?
I think you go heavier than I do, though.
I what?
I think you go heavier than I do in that respect.
Maybe,
So
maybe. Yeah.
I can't deal with it. Like,
Hmm.
a few milligrams is enough for me, and I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, the oil is what was fucking weird to me. If I take some of those oil pills,
Uh-huh.
it takes a while for them to kick in, man. Like 4 or 5 hours.
Mm.
But once they kick in, it's nice.
Have you played around with CBD at all?
Have I been around
Have you
CBD at
played
all?
around with CBD?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Tara like always has one of those containers of CBD,
Mm.
and every once in a while I do it. But yeah, it doesn't really do much
Yeah,
for me. I don't really feel the benefits, but I feel like it'd have to be something that I would have to like do consistently for like a month,
yeah,
and then stop, and then see how I would feel once I stop.
yeah,
Because I feel like that's one of the best ways for me to tell if something is working for me.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
I've been taking it consistently now for about a month, I would say,
yeah,
every day.
uh-huh,
But only like I think it's probably around like 3 to 5 milligram
uh-huh,
a day, like before I go to bed.
yeah.
But like I don't really know, like I don't know how to judge it.
Well, yeah, because it's not psychoactive, right? So you don't feel it as you would feel the high.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, that's what I mean too, man. For me, I don't know how to. Maybe for you, it'd be the same. Like just stop doing it for like about a week, and then see if you feel any difference, and then
yeah,
that's how you can tell that it was doing something.
yeah. I don't think there's anything that's going to help the inflammation in my hands and forearms.
Ice. I was gonna say cryotherapy, but that's not the case.
Yeah.
Um,
How are your hands with like drumming? Is that not?
Sometimes they're sore, but I noticed that when I'm hungover, my hands are really sore.
Mm,
Like they get really, really sore, and I have to like be massaging them all day.
yeah,
Only when I'm hungover, for some reason.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense to me.
but alcohol increases inflammation, right?
Yeah, but like right in my hands.
Well, if that's like the area that's the worst part of your body,
Uh-huh.
the most like strained part of your body, then it would make sense. Right?
Maybe. Yeah. So I always try to like remember what did I do yesterday? Or did I use my hands in a particular way or anything like that?
You're just there all night.
Yeah. Like was I doing this all night or like what's what but in terms of drumming, no man. Like they get tired
Yeah.
when I'm drumming. Um especially like in this muscle right here.
Mm.
That's the one that gets kind of tired, but it's like going to the gym when you start feeling the burn and you just keep going.
You're just like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, there's a song happening, so I can't really stop.
yeah,
You know, so and it's only for about 2 hours every time that we jam for.
yeah.
So that's good enough. Time for me. Oh,
Yeah, it's
excuse
pretty
me.
early. I think this is the earliest session I've done.
Oh, really?
10 a.m. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you like 7 a.m. sessions and stuff.
People are pussies.
Oh, yeah?
I'm down for 7 a.m. because like, well, on a weekend maybe. Because like during the week I'm up at like 4. 7 a.m.
Uh-huh.
like wide awake. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, most people are not.
No. No.
And then
Yeah, I'm
I
not.
get to like 9 o'clock at night, and like people are like, like, where's your energy? And I'm like, fucking, I used it all this morning.
I used it.
Yeah, where like,
It's gone.
what am I gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah, no, man. Like yesterday, for example, I went to sleep around 2,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
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 You'll get more rest.
But yeah, man. It also has a lot to do with like the time schedule that I have. Like I got off from the studio around 11:30 midnight. Yeah. Then by the time I got home, then relax a little bit. Yeah, it's like 2
How
o'clock.
are things at Soundhouse?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Slowly, slowly starting to get there. I feel like people are getting a little bit more comfortable in and what's over there? What's in that corner?
The WhatsApp notifications that pop up on my screen. What? Over there.
Yeah, people are getting more comfortable with being in an enclosed space. It seems.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is that the owners are telling me that the landlord is being kind of greedy.
Mm.
He doesn't want to have the government involved in paying the rent. So the government program, I believe, was going to be paying 50% of the rent, and then the tenants would pay 25% of the rent. So there's a 25% the landlord would be missing, essentially. But he's still getting paid 75%. And this guy owns like many properties, so it's not like he's, going broke if these people don't pay their rent. But with that being said, for some reason, he just doesn't really want to play ball.
Yeah.
So essentially, they still have to pay their full rent, the full amount. So I don't know what's going to be happening with that, man. I don't know if they have the money to do that. I don't know if they're digging into their savings to pay for rent. I don't know. Yeah, that's the. I would say that's the one thing that's kind of that I'm unsure about. So I think that the studio will eventually start picking up again, but in terms of whether they decide to keep paying rent for that place, whether that means them going to another location or the studio closing down for good, who knows, man? Who knows? Yeah.
How did you initially get involved with Soundhouse?
I had this job that I got on Craigslist.
Yeah.
that was a sales job. So what it was is it was very shady shit. But whatever, they sold me on the fact that you can make a lot of money if you sell. What we had to do was go from business to business, trying to change the merchant services, that terminal they use for credit cards, debit cards, and everything. So those machines, they belong to a company. Most of the time, it's Moneris. That's one of the big ones. And the company that I worked for had like four other companies, like Chase, Elevon, Pivotal, and something else. So I was supposed to go into businesses and then try to take them from that Moneris terminal or any other company that they had into one of ours. And then if I successfully did that, then I would get, I don't even know how much I would get if that was the case. They
Get
never told
back.
us. They never told us, man. I'd be like, do you guys need my social insurance number at any point? So, oh, yeah, we'll do that later. Like, they never took my social insurance number. So I was only there for 2 weeks. But on my last day, so the way that it would work is we have to show up to this office in the Telus building right on Boundary and Kingsway. We would meet there at like 7 in the morning every day and up until 10 a.m. So for 3 hours, we would be doing like uh, building rapport exercises and, how to make a sale, how to close, how to do the math to show them the numbers, this and that. So I remember like during those times I would do great with the group that I was with. Everybody would be like, oh, you're gonna make a lot of sales. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. And turns out that I wasn't making any sales, man. It was just like people don't want to fucking talk to you. The moment you show up dressed in like a button-up shirt, dress pants, dress shoes, and a binder to any business, like So I always wanted to show up in like a hoodie, be casual, like people won't be as like, on guard. But I remember thinking of this studio in particular because it was right across the street from the school that I went to for audio engineering. So immediately I thought that's the place where I'm going to make a sale because I'm going to be building rapport. I'll be talking to them. I'll talk to them about how much I like drums. That's going to be, I have a good feeling about this place. So that one day where I had Canby was my territory. I just walked from Canby down to the studio. And I just started talking. It turns out it was the owner. One of the owners was working the desk that day. So I was talking to her and, oh, I went to Pavi, right? Cool. Oh, that's great. And like, how much do you guys charge for drumming? I haven't been drumming in a while. And right as I was getting to the point where I was supposed to do, like do the pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of doing that, I was just, are you guys hiring by any chance? He's like, oh, we just hired someone last week, but send us your resume. You never know. Anything could change. Yeah, we can see if there's any space for you and everything. And then from there, it just kind of carried on. They called me the next day. Then we set up an interview. I did great in the interview. And then I got like one shift a week, and it was at minimum wage. So it was like $10.25 at the time. So I ended up working like my first paychecks were maybe like 12-hour paychecks. And so I wasn't making any money. But, I thought like, yeah, I just got to like outwork everybody else. So I'll just show these guys that I'll do much more than everybody else. And then slowly but surely they started giving me more hours. They ended up firing one of the guys because they're like, you don't work at all. Just have one extra person. And then Carlos is doing like way more work than 3 people combined. So from there, I just kind of started getting more and more into it. Yeah, man. But originally, that's how I got the job. I was trying to go and pitch in for another job.
Wasn't it the same way you started working at Float House?
No, it's not the same way I started working at Flow House, but it's the same way that I signed out for a membership at Flow House.
So you went in to sell them this machine, and you
Yeah.
ended up with a membership at Float House.
Yeah. It was like, oh, I might as well get a membership. I had no money, man. I had no money to be paying for memberships, but they had my credit card. I was paying for everything with credit cards because, again, even after the studio, I wasn't making any money.
Mm.
So I was paying rent with credit cards and shit. So I got myself in debt, but it was worth it.
Yeah.
It got me to,
Had you floated before you got a membership?
yeah, once.
Mm.
Yeah, once. Tara invited me out to go to a place out in Boundary. She had these 2 gift certificates for like Christmas or something, and we both said that we wanted to try it, so we went for it. But I don't really remember that experience.
Oh yeah.
Like, it wasn't a super meaningful experience or anything. I just remember being very relaxed afterwards.
Were you
Yeah.
high?
So no, no. I remember thinking that was gonna be like a mushroom trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went into it, and that's, I think, why I didn't
You went
think
in
it was
like,
bad.
oh, this is gonna be.
Yeah. So I was like more curious. I was more worried too, like what I was saying before going into the flow count, like, how you're, before you do psychedelics, you're like a little bit worried about what's gonna be like, and
Yeah.
how my mind should be before that. Nah, fuck it. It doesn't matter. But yeah, it was there wasn't too much to it. I don't remember the orientation very well. Neither at Float House.
Mm.
I don't even know if they did an orientation for me at Float House.
Yeah, get in there.
Well,
Just
yeah, I think that
touch
they
yourself.
asked me, like, have I floated before? I was like, yeah. Like, okay, yeah. So there's your room. There's everything.
Do you remember who it was?
No.
Uh,
I remember Adam and John, another guy who used to work there, were always working when I went in.
yeah.
Adam was always working. So I already recognized him when I started working. And yeah, man, it was for the most part, it was him. Then there was another girl, Siobhan, who didn't work there very much once we both came in. I saw her maybe a couple of times, but yeah, for the most part. I had the membership for, I think, about a year, and I didn't even show up once.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I gave them a call, like asking, like, can I maybe have 3, 4 of those sessions? And like, dude, you have 12 floats. You can use them. I was like, oh, that's great. It's wonderful. So yeah, then once I started floating again, and that's when I started kind of going for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I saw an ad on Facebook that they were looking for people, and I was like, ooh. Yeah. Yeah, man.
And how long had you been there before I came along?
At Float House?
Yeah.
You came by like summer or
Yeah.
when? Summer. So I would say almost a year. Almost. Yeah, I think I started in September of the year before. Yeah, and it was weird too because I had the interview during the summer, like in June or something, with Mike, and we ended up having a great conversation. Man, he was like, "Ah, man, like I really like you. I want to hire you, but you're not available for the days that I'm looking for." I know that there's some people leaving in September. They usually do for school and everything. So if you're okay with waiting until then. So with that conversation, I thought that I was going to get another interview in September.
Mm.
And then later on that day when I'm at home, I get a Facebook invitation to join the Float House employees. And I was like, oh, so I guess I'm kind of like hired.
You're in?
Yeah. And then they put me through some training
Yeah.
as well here and there. Yeah. Is it too loud?
Uh,
No?
okay.
Okay. So I can always relocate if you need.
What like when you saw the ad come up, like what made you feel like that's something you wanted to get into?
Well, originally I found another ad for Pure Float, maybe a month before. So they were hiring a Pure Float. I went for the interview with Coy, the owner, and it seemed to be going great. But I already had a spring break vacation planned with my cousins. We were gonna go out to Whistler. They rented a house, so that was already set. So I told him, this was maybe like 2 weeks before that trip. So I told him, I was like, yeah, like if it works out, I want to be like honest with you. I have a vacation planned. I know I don't want to be the new guy that comes in, but I just, I'm not going to be canceling that vacation for this job. So with that being said, I didn't get the job. So I went on vacation, did my thing. And then when I come back, I thought like maybe I should like go and like apply at Flow House. But because it was in Gastown, that always kind of intimidated me. And then all of a sudden there's a pop-up or something on Facebook that shows up right in front of my face that they're hiring. So I just fucking blew up, man. I gave them a call right away. I was like, are you guys still hiring? It was like posted the day before, and I'm like freaking out that they already hired someone. So whoever answered the phone was like, yeah, you just need to send your resume to info@us.ca. I think it was Benedict.
That's great.
No kidding. I don't know who it was, but yeah. Sent my resume, went in for the interview, and had an amazing conversation with Mike. And yeah, man, that's where we went forward. Yeah.
What was that? What was the journey like working at Float House?
Oh, dude, at the beginning there was a lot of kind of like the person that trained me, John, he was really good at asking some interesting questions. And more than anything, we would have really interesting conversations during the time, just like with most people there, no? But for example, learning the software system and everything like that, that's something that I struggled with at first. I picked up the back like super quickly because it's very similar to the studio work, like super similar. The software system was very different. At the studio, we were doing everything in pen and pencil, like on a notebook. This shit was horrible, man. There's so many mistakes being made. But anyways, John would kind of always ask me like, "What do you want to do today, man? Do you want to work the front or you want to work back?" And then I was kind of like, like everybody's always like, I don't know. I don't know. And then he would ask me things like, what does your ego tell you? What does your ego want to do? And I was like, that I want to work back. He's like, all right, let's go against your ego. You should work the front. Oh, all right. Okay. So that's just how I picked it up. I just kind of had to go for it. I remember the first few days when people would walk in and ask about floating, before I kind of really truly knew what it was all about and everything. Those are the moments that I would kind of be like, there's a tank. Okay. There's water, there's salt, so it'd be, and I remember this one particular time that some girl walked in. Benedict was in like the couch at the front with another guest. They were talking back and forth. This girl comes in and she's like talking to me. And the moment that she starts asking me questions and I answer, out of the corner of my eye, I can see Benedict stop talking with the guest and just like looked at me. Was just like fucking looking at me, studying what I was saying, just looking at me. And it was hard for me to focus on this girl because then I can feel this person leering at me. And the moment that she left, he resumes his conversation with the other person. Then what else, man? I think it was very easy for me to pick it up. And then almost not right away, but I would say within 2 months, maybe less. Within a month of me working there, that's when Adam, Sarah, and I started floating after hours. And the fact that we were smoking weed in the lounge and just hanging out, that was something that I really, really gravitated towards, man. I really looked forward to like Tuesday nights and just have these great conversations with these two people, like getting to know them. We didn't know each other, man. The first time that we did that, I think it was maybe Sarah's first shift.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe second shift with me. And I always wanted to float there, but I never wanted to do it by myself. So Adam once showed up to do a late night float, and I was kind of like, "Hey man, are you okay if I tag along? Like, is it okay if I float too?"
Together.
Yeah, I can go in the other side. You can float on this side, and I'll float on the other side. And he was like, "Nah, dude, you can float like next." Yeah, that's fine, man. That's good. And I was like, cool. And then was we're about to leave, I asked Sarah like if she wants to stay and do it, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, okay, cool, yeah." So then from there, I just kind of started this thing, and then when we told Mike and Andy about it, they were both like, "Oh, that's great! That is great! You guys should keep doing that." I was like, "What, man? You guys are so opposite from
This
anything
place.
that I would expect." You know, everybody would be like, "Oh, but be careful, okay? Like, don't no." These guys were super 100% supportive of that, and they encouraged it. So yeah, it was great, man. It was great. And then in terms of the job, it just slowly started getting easier and easier and easier. And then there was like waves of people that would come and go. So then like the first time when I was there was a bunch of people that were working at the time, and then they started phasing out. Then you came in, and like the second wave of people once I was working there. Yeah, and then after that, it's like more and more people coming and going, so forth. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's your journey of floating then?
I would say at the very few, it's hard to say, man. At the beginning, I think it's very much like what we were saying about CBD. I wasn't able to notice much of a change. I was just very relaxed for like an hour or two afterwards, and I had all these floats, so I was just using them up. And then until I stopped kind of doing that, and once I started working it, that's when I did it like twice a week, 3 times a week. And once I stopped doing that, that's when I was able to notice like, holy shit, I'm just so impatient. I'm very reactive. That was one of the biggest things that I noticed once I stopped doing it, is how reactive I was getting again. And it was kind of like I was like, oh yeah, this is what I was like before floating. Like, this is exhausting. So then from there, I just kind of started doing it more and more. I kept that, just motivated me to keep the consistency. And I mean, why not? We had the time and resources to do it. But within the float itself, I would say that once I read the book of floating, that's when everything kind of started opening up a little bit more, because I was able to understand what was going on with my mind during those times, what was going to be happening, what it could help me towards, what I could achieve if I put my mind to it, that sort of thing. So in that book, I read it fairly quickly. Once I started the job, they had copies and copies and copies of that book, so I bought one of those, and I started reading it. And the late night floats too, man, that's one place that I would definitely like talk to Sarah and Adam about floating and what it does and this and that. And then I also read another book that was called Happiness and How to Find It, I believe, or Where to Find It, I don't remember, where it was just a book about meditation. It was all about meditation. And everything that I was talking about meditation, all of a sudden I was like, this is exactly what I'm doing in the tank. This is what's happening to me every time in the tank. So I've been meditating this whole time. Mm-hmm. Like, holy shit. And that was another thing that just motivated me more to kind of do it. Yeah. Yeah, man. It was something that I would say, like, after the book of floating, rather, that definitely got me more and more motivated to do it. And understanding what happens. And then with this other book, Happiness and How to Find It, that's the one that I was just kind of like reassured that what I was doing was beneficial for me. Yeah.
What kind of things do you do in there?
Breathing. And it's very natural, man. It's not like I try to do something in particular, but like it's very much like psychedelics. All of a sudden when I'm in psychedelics, I take a deep breath just out of nowhere and it feels really good. It's very meditative in that sense. Give me 1 sec. Somebody should stop the door. I will continue this in 1 second.
I'm like on time. I'm so excited for
All right. I'm back. Yeah. So what was I saying?
What you do in the tank?
Oh, Yeah, it's just very naturally meditative, man. I found that I didn't have to try to do anything in particular. It was just kind of meditation was shoved in your face. Whether you're looking to meditate or not, there's just something that happened from the lack of stimulation, from senses, and then everything else. And the breathing was very much similar in that sense. I would just start breathing, and I always noticed that this part of my face was always tensing up. Yeah. Visually, you have a lot of visuals coming in and out too. Whether it was something that had to do with jujitsu or a certain thing that happened in life, a conversation with someone. But I noticed that every time that it was something like jujitsu, for example, if I was like visualizing rolling with someone, I would be like this. And I would always notice it. I'm like, oh, just relax. And then the moment that I relax my face, be like, oh, it feels so good. And then within 5 minutes again, for some reason, I just never. So that was always one of the things that I did in the tank was just try to relax this part, just this part. Every once in a while, it was my forehead, but for the most part, it was always right here. And still to this day, like I feel it, man. This place is always where I hold a lot of tension. I don't know why in that place, but it's always something that I look like that for the most part. And then with breathing, it was something I think for a couple of times I tried doing different exercises. Like there was a 4-7-8
Mm-hmm.
that I only did that once for the whole duration of the float. Where I went just focusing on like breathing in for 4 seconds, hold it for 7, and exhale for 8. So for an hour and a half, I was just doing that. And by the time I came out, it felt great. But after that, I never, ever did it again.
Yeah.
I just didn't have the discipline mentally to do that for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I have no idea how I did it, man.
Just going 1, 2.
Yeah. I remember like taking a shower right after that one. And every time I took a breath in, it felt so good. But yeah, other than that, I like to listen to music a lot. That was one of the things I would do. Once in a while, I would kind of study certain things. I tried learning a language in the tank a couple of times. But I think that I could have done it if I kept up with it, but I just never did. Music is one of the things that I really, really, truly enjoyed. Same thing kind of like psychedelics. You know, all of a sudden you're listening to it in a very different atmosphere. With some of the music that I listened to, I was just able to focus a little bit more on like certain parts of the music, or I would hear things that I haven't heard before, just because I was so focused in it. But I would say that's about the extent of it. I never tried doing too many things in there.
Yeah.
I always found it was quite the opposite effect. Like the more I tried to gain something from it or achieve something, it was like the farther away it got from me. You know, ironically. So it was just something that it was something that I had to learn, which is something that always confused me because most people at floats were like, oh, you gotta have an intention. You gotta have an intention for your float, man. And just what happens every time I set an intention, it never happened. You know, so my intentions became very simplistic. You know, I'm gonna be in there for an hour, and that's my intention. Or my intention is to feel rested afterwards. You know, things that I knew for sure were gonna happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
What do you think it's given you or taught you?
Oh, so much, man. I've been able to kind of go back and there's been times in my life where I know I've been not a good person, you know, towards other people, or that I did something out of spite, those kinds of situations. And those were brought forth a couple of times during the floats. So it showed me, you know, that there's still things that are kind of bothering me deep inside. Just to kind of let them go, make my peace with them. I apologize to certain people in my life. and it taught me, like I was mentioning before, just how reactive I am. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
What do you still carry with you from it?
I think the mentality, trying to be more aware. More than anything, like during like highly emotional times, I think that in those moments, I try to kind of imagine myself being in the tank, what that feels like, the state of mind, and everything like that. So, and more or less, try to bring myself to that point if I can. More than anything, is the calmness, stillness. Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things. And I know that I still want to do it. Like, I don't want to stop doing floating completely. I think that right now during this time is difficult to do it, just because most places just are not open. This and that. My all time one of my biggest goals in life, man, for at this point, is to have a tank in my house at some point. Just because I do feel,
It's very possible.
it's very possible, but
Not where you live right now.
No. More than anything, I think it's possible finding the tank is not the problem. I think it's more or less having the place to set it up.
Definitely.
Yeah, because it's just not a lot of places that you can rent out that the landlord would be like, yeah, sure, big tub of water, you do whatever you want. No, it's not gonna happen. Yeah.
You've been on top of recording the drumming, yeah?
Yeah. For the last couple of months, or for the last month. Yeah, since I got back.
How's that been going?
Good, man. In fact, that's one of the things that I was thinking about. If I was able to go for float and like listen to the song again and again and again, that would make it so much easier for me. Just because I found that if I go in and I try to listen to it when I'm doing other things, or like I have to sit down and listen to it, I find that it takes a little bit longer than I would like it to. So for example, I want to record like 2 songs per session, but sometimes I can only record one because it takes me much longer to get it right. And I mean, the stuff that I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get it as perfect as possible. So try to replicate everything as it is in the song, not so much like, oh, I think this is what it's like, so I'll just play this. So I'll just try to like listen again, like go back a couple of seconds again, listen to it, and then try to figure out how he plays it, and then redo it again. So the first few that I did, my right arm was destroyed because I think I played for maybe 4 hours. Mind you, it was the first time that I came back from Toronto. I haven't been playing drums for 2 months. So I come back, and the first 2 takes that I did, I was just like hitting the drums as hard as I could and as fast as I could. So I was, within an hour, I was already extremely tired. But I had to keep going because I really wanted to get 2. So by the time I got the last one done, my bones hurt. Not so much my muscles anymore, but my bones were really hurting at the impact of the drumstick. Yeah.
How long have you been doing that? You've been doing that forever?
Recording?
Or just playing drums?
Maybe like at this point, maybe like 15 years. I kind of started playing. A friend of mine got his first drum set like when we were in grade 10. So he must have been 15, 16. He got his, then his parents gave him a nicer drum kit. This was one of like the shitty garage kits, like big toms, and like you got it for $100 from somewhere on Craigslist. So he ended up getting a nicer one, a more professional one from his parents for Christmas. And then he asked me, like, do you want this one? And I was like, oh, of course I do. My house was really small too, so I didn't really have any place to put it. So I stashed it in my dad's bedroom. So that's where I would have my drums. And it's something that I would play like maybe twice a month.
Yeah.
You know, nothing crazy. Um, but you know, it was still there nonetheless. So I would say that I definitely started playing during that time. But once I started working at the studio, that's when I started kind of having more of a consistency playing.
Okay.
So all in all, at the studio, I've been there for maybe 5 years or close to 5 years. Yeah. Yeah.
So, like,
But
was there a period where, like, you were just very basic on the drums, and
yeah.
then when you started
Yeah.
working at the studio, that's when you really like focused on it.
No, I would say that like during the basic times was just when I first started. But I think even at that time, Deftones was one of my biggest influences. And then that drummer is just so technical. So all the songs that I tried to learn were Deftones songs. So inevitably, the technique just started coming to me. It took me a lot longer. If I would have gone to an instructor or something, I would have gotten there a lot faster for sure.
Yeah.
But you know, I just wasn't taking it seriously like that. I was just doing it for fun. So a lot of those things just kind of came to me from that. And then once I got to the studio, I already had like some of the technique, but then, you know, joining different bands. I think at one point I was playing with 4 different bands, and all from the studio. I just knew them. They're like, "We need a drummer," and I was ready to jump in on it.
Nice.
And then slowly but surely, I kind of started noticing that, like, yeah, this band I'm not as into, this band I'm not as into, and then Vice Girl, I was like, whoa, this I'm really into. Yeah. But yeah, I would say like once I joined the studio, that's where I kind of started kind of taking it more in a professional sense, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you know that like that's the instrument that you wanted to play?
My brother was really big into it. My brother's 8 years older than I am, so to me, he's always been somebody that I look up to, still to this day. He was always obsessed with drums, man. I have no idea where he got his obsession from. I've never asked him, but he would do this thing where we never owned a drum set at home. But he always had drumsticks. He would always buy drumsticks. So he'd always be air drumming. What he would do is he would play this live DVD that he had of one of his favorite bands. And he would just sit there like in the living room and like play along to the songs, like everything. And to me, it looked like exactly what they were playing, you know, in the DVD. So I would always just watch him like do that, and I was like, oh, okay, so drums is where it's at. Okay, and I think subconsciously, this is something that I realized not too long ago that my brother was 8 years older than I am, right? So when he was in high school, I was in elementary. No high school kid wants their younger brother like tagging along with them, but that's all that I wanted to do, was be friends with my brother and hang out with him and everything. So in a way, I kind of felt neglected by him. Not that he just didn't want me around or anything, but it's just, you know, it's natural.
Yeah.
You know, that's how people feel during that time. So I think subconsciously I always wanted to pick up the drums to have him be like, whoa, man, you're cool, you know, to like accept me and be like that, and which is something that has happened inevitably. That's not my only motive nowadays. You know, I do love the drums truly. I really like how it allows me to express myself and release energy and put that towards something. But I would say that definitely I went in for that instrument as kind of a way to be accepted by my brother. Yeah. Yeah, man, that was, I think I made that realization a month ago or something like that, not too long ago. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, man. I mean, I always knew that I wanted to do that, to have my brother think that I'm cool, but my realization was that I felt neglected by him for a big portion of my life, man. I think up until I was 15 or 16, he started talking to me differently, just taking me more into consideration for other things. But yeah, man, that was a big thing in my life.
Are you playing gigs with Vice Girl anytime soon?
Well, we don't have anything right now because of the situation going around.
Hmm.
Not a lot of places are allowing you to play live music.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we want to do, man. Let's keep playing. So far, the reaction that we've gotten from people is always amazement. Um, so yeah, I mean, we just it's a good sign.
How does that amazement make you feel?
It makes me feel like we're onto something.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And it's funny because that's kind of what my reaction is when I see bands that I like. You know, bands that I look up to. When I go and see their shows, like, whoa, how did you guys do that? You know, it's the same reaction. It's just now happening to us. Um, so we're both of us. We're really looking forward to kind of playing a little bit more once it becomes a thing again.
Yeah.
For now, I think we're planning to just record more things, write new things. You know, anything that we can do. But we've been getting together once a week
Nice.
to kind of do our thing here and there.
Nice.
Yeah. Now we're starting to kind of go in a more electronic way, more synth wave. 'Cause I think that it's very fun for us to play with, you know, the heavy guitars and the drums. But I think that we could also use a little bit more on the electronic side to kind of carve our sound, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the purpose of the recordings you're doing, the drum covers?
Like the drum covers aside from Vice Girl, or
Yeah.
I just wanted to do every time that I went on YouTube, man, I looked up Deftones drum covers because again, that's what I would play when I was learning to play the drums, right? So I really got to a point where I was able to play the song exactly like it was on the record.
Mm.
And every time that I went on YouTube and I would see any of the drum covers, they were either wrong, like people would play them wrong, or they'd be just playing like. So and then I would look down in the comments and they'd be like, "Oh, dude, great job! You killed it! Amazing! You should be you should be in a band." All this shit, all this like people telling me like, "Oh, what? No, absolutely not. I'm gonna like have every single Deftones song made in a drum cover, and it's gonna be way better than any of these guys." So that's how I started doing it at the very beginning. And then it kind of died out just because of the time and effort it took to doing those things.
Yeah.
But then I thought to myself the other day when I was in Toronto and we were talking about this, I was like, oh, why stop doing that?
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, it's time and effort, but what else am I going to be doing?
So is it kind of like a way to like pay homage to that band that you love?
Yeah, man. Yeah, more than anything, like I want to do Deftones covers, and there was this one person that had almost every song, but just on guitar covers, and it was like perfect replication. Like, it's a perfect cover. Everything that he did was how it was in the song. Like, he wasn't kind of guessing some parts. Like, he was playing it exactly like it sounded on the song, and he had every single Deftones song. So I was like, I want that, but for drums.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then after I run out of Deftones songs, I don't know, I may go with another band. I don't know.
Mm.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of Deftones songs, man, that I have to go through. A lot. But yeah, it's mainly just for that.
Where do you want to take it? Like playing with Vice Girl, recording drum covers. Like where do you want to take the music?
Yeah, so with the drum covers, I'm not really too particular about where it goes. I just want to have them out there, you know? And I'm sure that once I have them all done and all taken care of, inevitably on their own, they're going to start picking traction. If people like them or not, whatever, you know, they always gravitate towards what they like. But it'll be there. That's just something that I've always wanted to do. When I was a kid learning how to play drums, that's something that I would do. Is I would just record myself with my phone playing these drum covers, but it sounded like shit, so I never did anything with it, right? That's actually one of the reasons why I wanted to become an audio engineer, is because I wanted to learn how to properly do this so I could do it sounding professional.
Yeah.
And then with Vice Girl, I think that we both want to like be able to make a living out of it. If I get to a point in my life where we are traveling the world and we're getting paid for it to play in different parts of the world, like that's my goal in life.
Yeah.
To be able to play with not just like somebody was asking me, why don't I just become a session musician and then travel with a country band and then play for them, you know? But I don't want to do that. I don't want to play music that I'm not into just because I get to travel and get paid to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's kind of going against what your purpose is.
Yeah, you know, like you can make a good amount of money doing that for sure, but I'm just not into it. You know, if it's not something that I truly believe in, you know, what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Vice Girl is exactly that, man.
Yeah.
I think that's
How
something
much
that's
more meaningful would it be to be able to do that?
oh, dude, yeah, I would take it, even if it paid like just barely enough for me to travel. Like I didn't make any money, I just had enough to travel and I'd be happy, man.
Yeah.
I'd be very happy doing that. And I think Carl is very much on the same page, man.
Yeah.
He wants to do the same, yeah.
What would you say is the biggest like motivating force that you're feeling at the moment towards doing those things?
The reaction that we've got from not only people that we know ourselves, because it's always very difficult, right? When you show your stuff to friends and family, inevitably it's kind of like this verbal contract that they have to say, oh, good job, yeah, this was great. But you know, you never truly know.
Yeah.
So when it's something, I noticed that with two bands. There was one band, I don't know if I ever showed you that one band, but it wasn't really my style. It was cheesy. It kind of sounded like Blink 182. But we were playing lots of shows, you know. And every time that, you know, we'd ask one of our friends, what do you think? It's like, oh, you're a good drummer. You're a good drummer. You know, but they would never say anything about the music.
Yeah.
They would just tell me, oh, you're a really good drummer. And with Vice Girl, it's like, oh, fuck, what are you guys doing? So it became about the entire thing.
Yeah.
So that to me was like, oh, okay. So with the other band, I don't think that they really like the music, you know. That was just one good thing that they could take away from that was that. But I would say definitely the reaction from people, man. Even when we record something and then we release it, there seems to be a lot of traction. Every time that we release something new, there's a little bit more, and a little bit more of people kind of liking the sound or mentioning something. And I would say the main thing for me is playing live, man. There's just something about me being able to play live that I'm not able to do anywhere else. Like when I play in rehearsals, that's not who I am in rehearsals. You know, and I think that comes from that nervousness, like right before the show, that anxiousness.
Where you feel like you're gonna break your leg.
No. No.
You feel like you're gonna die walking up on stage.
Yeah. I'm kind of like, oh fuck, okay. And then all of a sudden when I'm playing, man, like the first song, I always played a little bit too fast, and I have to like catch myself. And then after that, it just fucking, I get into a zone, man. It's very different.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen you in that zone.
Yeah. Yeah, man. When I see it in video too, I'm like, holy fuck,
Yeah,
man. I don't play like that ever. You know, I'm not that technical ever. I always fuck up, and then all of a sudden when I play live, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
See your face just go like.
Yeah. Like right here. I do it again. Yeah, man.
Yeah. And then there's like girls in the audience who have like not mentioned anything about being attracted to you before. And then they see you playing, and it's just like, you fucking hot.
Yeah, man. It's one of those things. I think that when you're like so in the zone with something, it's a very attractive thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like it's just inevitable. It's just you're seeing somebody being so pure and it's contagious. You kind of want to do that, whatever that means to people.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that I like about it, man, is that, you know, it's just something that people are able to kind of get inspired by or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good like measuring stick, right? To see
Yeah.
the thing that most people are attracted to is seeing people doing the things that they love
Hmm.
and like seeing them kick ass at it, right?
Yeah.
You can tell when you're looking at someone doing something that they love doing, when you're looking at someone like a little bit weird about it or not too like sure about it. Like you're drawn to the one who's loving it.
Yeah.
And that just,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's a good way to measure like whether that's the thing that you should be doing,
Yeah.
because people can see that this is something that you love. You might not have even known.
Yeah.
They're like, you fucking love doing that. You're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I kind of do.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, man. And then, like, you can always tell too when you see someone doing something very creative. You can tell every once in a while. It's like if you want to, you could really do something with this.
Mm.
Like, if you truly want to, like, be famous or whatever the fuck you want, you could do it. You could be one of the most like successful people doing this. You know, and I don't. I've always struggled with accepting that for myself because I feel like it's kind of arrogant to say those things about yourself. You know, it's like, oh yeah, I could do this. I could be like on the top. Um, but I wouldn't say that I would be at the top of like the best drummers in the world or anything like that. But Vice Girl, I think, has a place and has a like we could do something really big with it.
Mm.
You know, so I'm really and again, that's just something that I've noticed from the reaction that we've gotten from people. You know, it's just I've never gotten that sort of reaction from anyone before after playing.
Do you think that kind of thing with arrogance, believing that it's arrogance to like put yourself out there, do you think that's inhibiting you in any way?
Yeah, for most of my life, man.
Yeah.
I've there was a time I must have been maybe 13 or 14 when a cousin of mine, I don't even know why I paid attention, man, because me and this cousin are not close at all. I haven't spoken to this person in fucking years, man. But one of the things that he said to me, like I was with his brother, my other cousin, and he was like looking at himself in the mirror, like doing his hair. And this cousin walks by, he's like, he loves himself, man. It's cool to love yourself, but not too much, you know? So that always resonated in my mind. Like I was in a very, very particular state at that time, maybe. So in my mind, I was always like, oh, if I love myself, I'm arrogant. So it's always been the case, man. Up until the last couple of years with floating and everything is like, no, I should love myself, man. It's not a bad thing to love yourself. You're not cocky. You're not being arrogant. It's just you love yourself. There is a way of being arrogant.
Yeah.
But I think that that's ironically somebody not loving themselves and trying to prove that they love themselves by saying these things or convincing themselves that they are these great things, you know? But you don't necessarily have to be that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think that, yeah, for sure that's inhibited me on doing a lot of things. Like when people tell me I'm a good drummer, man, most of the time I'm like, nah. You know, and I only say that because I know many other drummers, man, that can do things that I cannot do. So to me, those are good drummers. I could be okay. Like I know what I'm doing. I feel comfortable behind the kit, but I know that there's a lot of more professional drummers, more experienced drummers, more this and that. But still, you know, that doesn't take away my experience. It doesn't take away my abilities. So that's just a mindset that I'm trying to change at the present moment.
Yeah.
To be able to say, yeah, I enjoy playing drums. I'm good. I know what I'm doing.
Do you think that's the main thing that you need right now in order to like take it to the next level?
Mm, it's hard to say. I haven't thought about it. I think what I need is consistency, man. More than I have been. And I think with recording the drum covers, that's been something that's been more consistent. Because other than that, the only times I was playing drums was once a week with Carl for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I think that in order for me to take it to the next level, it would have to be a little bit more consistent. Like I have to be playing a little bit more, which is by the time that I was playing with like 4 different bands, I was definitely being more consistent just because I was like, back-to-back rehearsals or, 3 or 4 times a week rehearsals. So I was playing quite extensively. And I think that that's what gave me more technique over the years. So yeah, I think that for right now, it's just more time, dedicating more time to it, not just 2 hours a week, just more. Yeah. Yeah. And then maybe the thought pattern will kind of change on its own. I don't know. I think that being aware of it is definitely a good stepping point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Mm.
All right, I'm gonna switch this recording off and have a little chat with you.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you doing this.
Of course, man. Thank you.